Hello again, college football fans. It's Tuesday, November 23rd. Sorry so late getting back at y'all with the Week 12 review, but here we go. Alabama wins another ugly game. I definitely either I overestimated Alabama's defense or I grossly underestimated Arkansas's offense. Probably a little bit of both in this one. Bryce Young, of course, was brilliant. Brian Robinson did what we needed him to do on offense. I was happy with the offensive performance in this game. They're the reason that we won the football game. About the defensive side of the ball, once again, it's an underwhelming performance for them, and a little bit of a disappointment to the fan base. Even though I've been saying all year long, we have to get over the Pete Golding hate, because he's I don't think he's going anywhere. And when you look at the stats and you look at national rankings, his defense is never just in the bottom half of the country or anything totally embarrassing like that. I have made the case the past few years that this is just the era of college football that we are in. The rules being the way they are, with targeting, with allowing offenses to allow linemen to run downfield 5 yards before a quarterback throws the ball, creating opportunities in the run pass and all that sort of stuff, that it's just kind of impossible for a defense to be a shutdown type of defense the way we were used to seeing years ago. But Georgia comes into the picture this year and has really thrown a wrench into that theory of mine. So as far as Alabama's defense goes, I'm still saying it just is what it is, and we have to be happy with the fact that we have a good enough offense that can overcome those shortcomings and win ball games. And Alabama has clinched the West. They will be going to play Georgia, so I can kind of talk about that matchup a little bit more now, because it's coming. And congratulations on winning the West to Alabama and Coach Saban. This is probably the least joyous Western Division clinch that I can remember. It used to come against Mississippi State a lot. We played them late in the season. Of course, Auburn. Usually, if the Iron Bowl is for the West, Auburn wins that game. So I think maybe there have been some times in the past when Auburn wasn't really in the running, but it was going to take that win for us to clinch. But just reiterating what I said earlier, this is a very trepidatious Alabama fan base right now, as well they should be, because of what we've seen going through the season. I love this Alabama team. I've had a lot of fun this season. I've complained in the past that the SEC had been down. Seemed like 14, 15, 16, even 17 to an extent. The SEC West had just kind of fallen down. 18-2 was a down year for the West and all of the teams that Alabama played. And it seemed like Alabama just had to go through the formalities until they got into the postseason, and then it was all bets are off. And you watch a team roll its way through its season year after year looking like a juggernaut, and then it gets into the postseason and the playoff especially, and Clemson, I'm pointing at you here, but getting disappointed after having your team built up the way that it is gets a little bit old. And also going in and week out and knowing that the opposing side doesn't have a chance to win, it gets a little bit boring as a fan. And this season has been a lot more fun because Alabama's back has been against the wall most of the season since the Texas A&M loss, and a lot of these games have definitely been the opposing side. Tennessee came into this game feeling like they had a chance. Arkansas felt like they had a chance. Ole Miss, of course, has felt like they had a chance the past couple of years. Even Mississippi State felt like they had a chance to beat Alabama this year. It didn't work out for them. I mean, they got hammered, but it's just fun having things, having it be a competition. having things in the balance, and it's a little bit of a departure for an Alabama fan. And so I have enjoyed that, and the fact that they're winning and the fact that they can, produce drives with their back against the wall, and the fact that they can get stops when they absolutely have to have it in games, it's been fun. I mean, watching these games, I mean, my heart rate has gone up, in the red several games this year that I've watched Alabama play, and that has not been the case for the last few seasons. And if it was the case, it was just a loss. It was just the loss that we had in the year, either against Auburn or Ole Miss or somebody like that, spoiling the party. But, this year has been a real football season for Alabama, and it's been enjoyable. Now, moving on to the country, Oregon got their loss that everyone pretty much figured was coming somewhere down the pike for them. So they are done. And the way I see the playoff situation right now is Georgia's obviously in no matter what. If Alabama wins, then Georgia and Alabama are both in. Then you're going to have the winner of the Big Ten is going to be in. And I think that's going to be Ohio State. And most people agree with me at this point on that. Bedlam is huge. Oklahoma State. If the winner of that can go on to beat, Baylor in the Big 12 championship game, and you got a one-loss Big 12 champion, I believe they'll go in. So if Alabama beats Georgia, and the Big 12 can produce a one-loss champion, then it'll be Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. And Cincinnati and Notre Dame will be shut out. Now, Cincinnati is still in if Alabama loses to Georgia. I think that they go in over Notre Dame. But Notre Dame is still a factor because Cincinnati has, to me, got two very losable games. They'll play East Carolina this week, and then they'll play Houston in the conference championship game for them. And they could certainly lose either one of those games. Now, if Cincinnati loses and then Notre Dame is in play, to me, in my opinion, if Oklahoma